you mentioned something that I know is a little bit different in the state of Indiana than most states,
Uh-huh.
and a topic that's very popular with our viewers: child support.
Hmm.
So, how is child support calculated in the state of Indiana?
It's calculated using both parents' income, the gross income, and then it's also calculated in regards to how many overnights that father is exercising with his or her child, his child, and so we're taking the income from mom, we're taking the income from dad, we're taking into consideration who is paying the health care for the child, because whoever paying health care for the child will get a credit as well, and so it's basically based off of the income. It's based off if you have other children that you're paying for. That's through the court system. Now, on the Indiana Parenting worksheet, it also takes into consideration what we call legal duty, where the parent may not, or the father may not actually be paying child support through a court system, but he or she may have paying child support just out of his pocket and giving it to another mother. But I
Mm-hmm.
always tell my clients, listen, they're going to fight that, because that's something that also lowers your child support if you're paying child support to someone else, but it's not court ordered, but you're paying it. So I always tell them, listen, keep receipts. Keep receipts. If you do a cash app, we want to bring that in. We want to bring that in to show that this is not just him making up that he's paying $40 a week to mother, B, so that he can get his child support lowered.
Yeah, the biggest facepalm moments for me are when those clients come in and they have alleged arrearages, different things, and I'm like, okay, well, you have receipts. We can pull credit card statements. We can pull bank account
Uh-huh,
statements,
uh-huh.
and they're like, well, actually, I was giving her cash, and I'm like, okay, so
Yeah.
that's going to need to stop.
Yep.
You got to be able to prove it. But you
Uh-huh.
you made another kind of point, and I always encourage this in the state of California in our beautifully well run government out here.
Yeah.
This the state of California, DCSS, the Department of Child Support Services, they 13% of child support paid through the system,
Uh-huh.
the state actually keeps. So
Yeah.
if you're able to work with her, if you're able to put something in order, I don't know if you're able to do this in Indiana, but a lot of times in the beginning, we try to set up situations where it's like, okay, you're going to pay her $821 on the first and $821 on the 15th, and she's going to give you her bank account, and you're just going to wire the money over.
Uh-huh.
And that takes the state out. That takes, as long as you keep up with it, that takes
Yeah.
out the risk of a garnishment happening out of nowhere.
Uh-huh.
So can you do that in the state of Indiana? I'm sure the
Yeah.
state of Indiana is probably lower. I know most states and most red states are like 2 or 3% is what the
Uh-huh.
state ends up taking, and that's usually just interest and penalty type stuff. But
Yeah.
what would you advise dads in terms of, hey, you get hit with this child support number that, let's just be honest, that it may not be practically affordable given your situation. What do you do to kind of help mitigate that?
Well, going back to, can they actually pay the child support without going through the clerk's office?
Mm-hmm.
And they can. If mom and dad agree that dad can pay her or wire her the money directly to her bank account, if both parties agree to that, then it can be done. But if mother is adamantly disagreeing and she wants it to go through the clerk's office, then the state of Indiana will require it to be an income withholding, a garnishment. And so this is one goes back to why I'm telling fathers, try to get along with mom, because if you're consistent and you're not, if you're consistent with paying the child support, and you ask her, listen, can I pay it this way, and then you are consistent with paying her just through out of your pocket to her bank account, that actually helps your credit too, because in the state of Indiana, if you have a garnishment on there for child support, I mean, it's not like, you're getting garnished because you didn't pay, your furniture bill, or, a company's coming after you. It's still part of your credit report. And it still shows. And so if you can avoid that situation, that would be very helpful. But I haven't had a lot of mothers who have agreed to that in any of my circumstances. Maybe one or two I can count on my hand out of thousands.
Gotcha. Yeah. So a lot of it comes back, and we got guys still, we're still blowing up the chat with what if she doesn't work? It takes two to play ball.
Mhm.
Ultimately, on a lot of these issues, unfortunately, there are individuals who I chalk it up as fear. I'll let you kind of comment on it. My personal opinion is when you get a mom who just is disagreeable and doesn't
Mhm.
wants to just go to court for everything, I think there's a level of fear. And they're
Yeah.
afraid if I sign on the dotted line, are they trying to get one over on me? Are they trying to
Mhm.
do this? What's your experience with that? Do you kind of notice that or get that feeling?
Yeah, it is a lot of fear, but it goes back to all of the false rumors that have been out there, and so it's so embedded in them. When a non-truth has been so embedded in somebody's spirit or in their mind, even if you're telling them as a licensed attorney, this is not true, it's almost like you have to beat it out of them to get the truth in them. You have to deprogram them to program them with the right information. So it is a lot of fear, Mark. I absolutely agree with you on that.
The worst ones are when dad and I have a dad, and then mom is unrepresented. They think anything I say, they think anything I do is in bad faith. And you can go to them and say, "Hey, I'm showing you all the cards here. We
Yeah.
want to work together with you."
Mhm.
And they're just sometimes, especially when they're unrepresented, where you present something that's more than fair, that's
Mhm.
better for them than what the judge is going to grant,
Yeah.
and they're scared to sign on the dotted line on that for fear of they're going to miss out or they're going to screw something up.
Yeah. Absolutely. I absolutely agree.